This is Taking Stock on Bloomberg. I'm Pimm Fox. All right, are chemicals a market hotspot? Investors bought the shares of DuPont today. The stock was up 3.5% after reporting earnings that topped analyst estimates. It also raised its forecast for the rest of the year. But what about other stocks in this sector? All right, let's find out if we can make some money in chemicals now. We're joined by Michael Sison, who follows the industry for KeyBanc Capital Markets. Mike, good to have you with us on Bloomberg.
Hey, Pimm, how you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Good. So give us a little bit of an overview of what's happening in the chemical industry. They're highly cyclical businesses. They're supposed to lead us into recessions and lead us out of recessions before other companies. What's going on?
Yeah, I think the results in chemical land have been pretty encouraging the last couple quarters. You've seen a very good rebound in volumes in the second quarter, sequential improvement in the first quarter. As you know, chemicals really are the building blocks of all materials out there. If you make anything, you have chemicals in it. So, you know, we continue to believe that there is a good recovery coming. We specialize primarily in specialty chemical companies, Pimm. We tend to buy from companies like DuPont, BASF, or Dow, upgrade those materials and sell those to the likes of a Procter & Gamble or a Valvoline or something of that sort, to some degree an Intel. So, you know, I think near term, you know, what I'm hearing from the CEOs of my companies is that we're in a decent recovery, seeing better growth in Asia, good positive growth in North America, and a little bit sluggish in Europe to some degree. But the volume improvements have been very, very positive thus far.
Mike, what's happening in the solar business in order to connect that with what's going on in chemicals? Solar, chemicals, how does that work?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. You know, the solar industry, you need a lot of chemicals to make a solar panel work. So there are companies that I cover that manufacture chemicals that allow the solar panel to do what it needs to do, to convert energy from the sun into energy that you or me can use down the road. So what we're seeing is that installments of solar cells and shipments, particularly in Germany, which is 50% of all demand, continues to be very positive. And, you know, I think there's a continued secular trend of wanting more alternative energy out there. And I've got companies that, you know, sell to that industry. You've seen very strong growth here in the second quarter. And surprisingly, the outlooks for the second half of the year have been very, very strong. So I feel really good about my solar companies heading into the second half of the year.
So do you feel really good about the chemical company Pharaoh Corporation, symbol FOE?
Yeah, I think what's interesting about Pharaoh, Pimm, is that it's a company that's based here in Cleveland, Ohio. You know, it's nice to have one of our own here doing very well. It's been in turnaround mode since 2005, but what's intriguing about the story is that they've been able to keep this solar business on the right track. So you see a lot of turnaround situations in chemicals, and what's unique about Pharaoh is that they have sort of a crown jewel, if you will. And what's exciting about the crown jewel, it's going to allow earnings power mid-cycle for Pharaoh to probably approach somewhere in that $1.20 to $1.30 range. I think it should get a multiple, you know, in the range of 12 to 13 times, and it's a $15 stock. Stock was up $1 today to 10. A lot of upside potential here. The balance sheet is much improved, and 40% to 50% of earnings comes from solar. So I think it's a nice way to play that secular growth.